Hi everyone, I'm Gautam aka the Seeker of Wisdom. I'm a manifestation coach, and in this video, we're going to be talking a little bit about how to manifest an SP who is unaware of your existence. Now, before I do so, I'd like to remind you guys I am available for coaching. So I offer hourly, monthly, email, and DM coaching along with premium coaching right now, which is basically unlimited calls and unlimited DMs. I also have two different Facebook groups. I have a paid Facebook group where I come up live 4 times a month, answer your queries, as well as give you guys exclusive resources to use. And I also have a free Facebook group where I upload my YouTube videos in advance and give you guys free resources to use. I also have a mailing list where I post articles from time to time, as well as my latest offers for coaching. And last but not least, I also have many different masterclasses on self concept, SP, and SP bundles for you guys to check out, as well as other different coaching plans, as well as I mentioned earlier. So if you guys need any information on that, feel free to email me or DM me on Instagram at the Seeker of Wisdom, and I'll be more than happy to share with you guys like what plans may be suitable for you and advise you on those types of things. So without further ado, guys, let's get to it. So what prompted this video was a follower request, and this person basically asked me to make a post of sorts on the idea of how to manifest an SP who is basically unaware of your existence, right? That was the gist of the question. And I really thought, rather than making a post about it, why not make a video, because I feel like this is worth talking about. And there's only so much you can condense on an Instagram post. And I felt like this was worth talking about in a video format, which is why I'm making a video now. And the main thing is that like with manifesting an SP who's unaware of your existence, the process is pretty much the same as you would manifest an SP who is aware of your existence. I don't think there is a stark difference between like how the approaches might vary, so to speak. Again, one thing I just want to quickly you know uh, talk about, I guess, is manifestation is not problem solving, right? So that is kind of like the gist of the question was, okay, hey, is the approach different because this person is not aware of me, right? Like, this is an obstacle that I kind of need to resolve, so what would be different? So I would advise you guys not to see it that way specifically, because what it does is that it only reiterates the problem, right? It only like reinforces the idea that, okay, hey, your SP is not aware of your existence right now, so how would you go differently about it? And the truth of the matter is that you don't have to go differently about the process, right? Because if you are imagining you being with your SP, you going to the park and things like that, for example, then all of those things are the same, like with any SP, right? Like whether this SP knows you or doesn't know you, the imaginal acts that you're going to do is pretty much the same. So, approach wise, it's not too different. The only difference is you thinking that the approach is different. So, if I were you, I would simply just focus on your union with your SP and what it feels like, what you guys would be doing, and things like that, rather than thinking about how you guys would meet, what type of circumstances would kind of lead to that union and things like that. So for example, if you're manifesting a celebrity, right? Like if this is a high profile person who always has lots and lots of people around him or her, then as much as you are compelled to think about the circumstances that you might be put into to meet this person, right? As much as you might be compelled, because logically speaking, you might be wondering like, hey, okay, if this were to happen, surely I need to get close to this person, and now how would that happen? What kind of events would have to pan out for me to meet this person? Now you might be inclined to think that, and that is the logical way of doing so, and I agree. But when it comes to manifesting, throw the word logic out of the window and solely focus on your union with them. You never know how it might pan out. You never know. You seriously will never know. The circumstances in which you might meet your SP who is unaware of your existence might surprise you actually. You might bump into them literally, at a grocery store, for example, or you might bump into them at a workplace event that you didn't even know they might be attending, for example. So rather than like thinking about the circumstances, because truth of the matter is this, I always tell people this, like, even if you do know how it's all going to pan out, you might not be able to really influence it that much, to be honest. Like, there's not much you can actually do to shape the events or to manipulate the events to maybe come faster, for example, or to, maybe make modifications, right? A lot of this may be out of your direct sphere of influence, so to speak. So if I were you, what I would solely focus on is experiencing the union in your mind and feeling it real, rather than thinking, okay, this person is unaware of my existence, what do I do differently right now? Honestly, you don't have to do anything differently, right? You imagine you're being with your SP, going out on dates, having a good time with them, and just enjoying life, and you just feel it real in your mind as much as possible. And you obviously claim them to be, who you are in relation to them, for example. So, like, if you are manifesting a celebrity who, okay, so I'm talking about it from like a lady's perspective and like a male celebrity, for example, or just any male person, for example, right? So you can just start claiming them as your boyfriend or husband if you're aiming for marriage. And you just start putting them in that role, regardless of the fact that, whether or not they know you, regardless of, let's say, whether or not they are celebrity and things like that. So normally when people ask me these types of questions, it's oriented around celebrities, because people are often thinking about how would I be able to bump into a celebrity when they are often surrounded by people. And what I tell people is, strip them of everything, right? Like their roles in society, and simply assign them the role that you would like to have them in. In this case, a spouse or a partner and things like that. And when you come at it from that perspective and you just put them into that role specifically, they have to conform to that. And everything in this universe will align itself to make that a fact. But you have to first see it in your mind. You have to first see it and realize it in your mind. Recognize them every time when you think about them as your spouse or a partner. Continue to do so until it's secondhand nature for you. Like, when you just think about them, you should be like, oh yes, they are my, spouse or partner. What about them? You know? So if, let's say, like, you are manifesting a celebrity, for example, you shouldn't think of them from the perspective of a die-hard fan, but you should think about them from the perspective of them being your partner. And that's a very important distinction, right? Because as you might have started out as a fan, for example, and you might have developed admiration and things like that, and you might really love their work and stuff, which is all good. But when you are manifesting them to be your partner, you have to put them in the role. And even if, like, they're not a celebrity, they are a colleague who's maybe a couple levels higher than you in the chain of command, like, you just imagine them to be a partner and strip them of their career role, for example. That is another way you can look at it, is just strip them of all the roles that you might give them, and solely just put the role of your husband or your boyfriend, for example. Again, I talk about it from the ladies perspective because a lot of my demographics are women, but I just wanted to like give that as well, because this can happen in many different scenarios, right? It can happen in workplace, again it can happen in the form of a celebrity. Those are two general situations I often see. But this applies for anything. If, let's say, you are crushing on your senior or somebody like that, or junior, for example, in college, it can be anything, right? Like, it can be anyone. But if they are not aware of your existence, don't let that be something of an obstacle in your mind. Don't let that stay in between you and your SP. Simply focus on the union, and the obstacle will remove itself, is what I'm trying to say. And so if you just focus on your union, everything else will just fall into place. So, remove all the other roles that you could potentially see them in your mind, right? Maybe a manager or a boss or a celebrity and things like that, and solely put the identity of, like, a spouse or a partner, for example, and simply persist in that to the point where you simply can't see them as anything else but that. When you think about your SP, you should see them as a loving, caring partner to you. That's it. And when you just see them as that, they have to conform to that. Why? Because everyone is you pushed out, everyone is reflecting your thoughts. So when you just see them as this, they have to conform. So guys, we have come to this end of this video. If this video resonated with you, be sure to drop a like and a comment down below. Turn on your bell notification so that you guys will know when I upload a new video every single week. Guys, stay safe and happy manifesting. Peace.